Are you ready to go? I've waited for a long time. I must be out of my mind. Now I'm ready for this to start. When the lights go out, it's so dark. When the moment comes, we'll find apart. Are you ready to go? Are you ready to go? Are you ready to go?
All right. Good evening, everyone. Hey, Joe, can you give me a quick shout out? See if I can hear your audio.
Howdy, howdy.
All right, there we go. So again, thank you everyone for being on the call tonight. We do have a couple of technical difficulties. If you look over in your panelist box, there are two Jansen Lemleys. The one that's waving at you right now is the real Jansen Lemley, and I'll be introducing the imposter we have over there, who is Joe Lewis, our summer camp director, and he's logged in on my account as well. Ran into some issues with his computer. So again, thank you so much for being a part of our webinar this evening. We are super excited to bring to you some of the things that Joe and his team have been working on. A couple of things that I'd like to do to kick things off for tonight. One, we are going to be recording this webinar. And so if you need to refer back to it at any point in time, or if you need to pass it along to another unit leader or a parent within your troop, please feel free to do so. Those will be listed on our council website, michiganscouting.org. Being that this is a webinar-based format, your webcam will not be on, and so you won't have the ability to ask questions verbally. But if you do have a question, please feel free to plug that into the chat, and either I will answer it in the chat room, or if need be, I will ask Joe, and he will answer the question for the group. And lastly, I want to take the time to introduce Joe Lewis. We had our camp director from last summer, Jerry Deeg, that retired back at the end of September. And so we went through an interview process over the fourth quarter of the year and have, through the help of other colleagues and our volunteer team out at DeBary Scout Ranch, we have selected Joe Lewis as our year-round program director and summer camp director. So he lives on site there in Metamora and is he's been on the job for 27 days now and planning a amazing camp program and hiring a staff that will be delivering that to all of you. So I want to turn it over to Joe for him to just to give a couple of tidbits about himself and for Joe to take the presentation away. Joe?
Hi, everybody. My name is Joe Lewis. I am the current year-round program director for the DeBary Scout Ranch, along with the summer camp director. So a little bit about me. I think Jansen already hit a couple of these, but my audio is kind of cutting in and out. But I grew up in Swartz Creek, Michigan. I actually gained my Eagle rank through Water and Woods Council or Field Service Council, excuse me, through Troop 110. So grew up in the Flint area, spent my entire scouting career there when I was a youth, and then ended up working on summer camp staff in Michigan. I worked down in Florida Sea Base for a while, Wisconsin, just kind of all over, gaining all these really awesome experiences. And so I'm extremely excited to be here at the ranch full-time, living on property. If you follow our social media, you'll see a bunch of pictures that I continually take and post on all the different social medias that we have, and it's absolutely fantastic. The sites here are amazing, so you should all come out and see them yourself when you have the chance. Going forward, I just wanted to start. So next slide, please. Yep, there we go. So going forward, I just wanted to start with our mission statement, because this is truly what is at the heart of DeBary Scout Ranch for the 2021 season. So we, the camp staff, are dedicated to providing our customers and guests a legendary scout camp experience while participating in our life-changing year-round camp programs. We are committed to providing facilities, programs, services, and camp leadership that will consistently exceed the expectations of our customers and guests. Our Michigan Scout camps will be a safe haven for those experiencing for experiencing the best of the adventures and values of the Boy Scouts of America. Next slide, please. So right off the bat, how do we get to camp? Well, there's a lot of different ways. You could go up 94, you could go over on 69, but really one of the more important ways to get to camp is through payment schedule. So right now we're kind of in our first payment period, and that's going to last from January 1st until February 3rd. On February 3rd, you need to have submitted a payment of $50 per participant. So that means $50 per adult, $50 per youth. Then our next payment period goes from February 4th to March 1st, March 2nd to April 5th, April 6th to May 3rd, and then finally we're at this magical place that we like to refer to as summer camp, where all the amazing things you get to experience this summer happen. Next slide, please. So, some important payment information. There is a cancellation fee. So unfortunately, if there is a scout or a adult leader that has to cancel, we need to collect as a part of administration fees 15% of the total payment. So that's $49.50 for scouts or $25 for adults. Refund policy in regards to COVID-19, we currently don't have one in place, but that's open to change as the situation sees fit. Obviously, if we have an order out through the governor that says we cannot operate camp, we're going to refund everybody's money, but we are completely prepared for all sorts of scenarios, and we'll go into that during this presentation a little bit, to run camp no matter what. Merit badge signups, they happen on March 18th. So after you put in your payment, on March 18th, all the merit badges that you can sign up for are going to open up, and you can actually get a hold of or get your slots put in. So it's important that you get your payments in so that right when the slots open up, you can get in and do exactly what you want for the summer. And then gold plan information. So for all of my gold plan units out there, right now, pay your $50 fee for all of your adults, all of your youth. We will reallocate the money that you spend on your 2 free adults after we figure out who those folks are from you, and we'll give them to another scout or a leader, depending on what your troop wants to do. All right, next slide. So some important notes for adults on camp. So this year we are going to be doing a family night, and we'll get into that a little bit later. But for all adults on camp that are over the age of 21, you need a DHS clearance letter. So what that means is that you need to submit a request for a clearance letter to the Michigan Department of Health and Safety. So you need to do that sooner rather than later. An important note on that, if you have a note or a letter from 2013 and you have been a registered member of the Boy Scouts of America with the Michigan Crossroads Council since 2013, you are good to go. We have your clearance letter on file as long as you have given it to us. On the other hand, let's say you got a clearance letter in 2013 and you had to take 2019 off of Scouts and did not get re-registered. You have to get a new DHS clearance letter. Second point, adults must have proof of BSA membership and youth protection training to stay overnight. So yes, that means parents. If a parent wants to come to camp and they want to stay the night for family night, they need to make sure they are a registered person with your troop, and they also need youth protection training. Which brings me to my third point. Any adult that comes on property, whether it is to stay, visit, whatever it is, they must have youth protection training. You actually don't have to have youth protection training to actually, you actually don't have to be a registered member of the Boy Scouts of America in order to take youth protection training, because we're that cool. So make sure that all adults, regardless of if they're only visiting for a few hours or staying the night, have youth protection training, and we need proof of that.
Hey, Joe, just real quick, a couple of questions have come in that I want to talk about to the entire group. So the DHS form, there's a few questions of what if an individual is coming from out of state, or is the DHS letter different from, say, if you went to another camp in Michigan Crossroads Council, like let's say Gerber or Rotary or Cole. The DHS clearance form is a form that is not required by the Boy Scouts. It's actually required by the state of Michigan to ensure that all adults on property have had a background check or been cleared. And so the clearance form is required for every adult that steps foot onto our property. And so regardless of whether you're out of state or in state, you need to fill that out. And then you need to present a copy of that clearance form. So if you went to, let's say, Gerber in the past, you would need to have a copy of that letter. And so if you don't, the easiest way to do it is to resubmit to the state of Michigan to get that DHS form. It takes about 6 weeks to get turned around, and now is the perfect time to be submitting those requests. Joe, back to you.
Fantastic. All right, next slide. So one of the things that we are doing this year in particular to make your lives as easy as possible and also our lives as the administration team as easy as possible is we are introducing what is called Camp Doc. So you all know that annoying shuffle of paperwork that happens at the beginning of every week and how sometimes it can take longer than others. You forgot something, something's out in your truck, so on and so forth. Well, Camp Doc helps solve a major part of that issue. If you have your medical form signed 2 weeks or prior to, or 2 weeks before, or any time before that, prior to camp and your arrival at camp, then you can upload them to Camp Doc, and that is what you should do. That will expedite your Sunday check-in process a whole lot, and it'll make it a whole lot easier on us at the camp, making sure that we have access to everything. So make sure that we're going to have a council-wide Camp Doc seminar in April. We're still putting that together on who's going to do the leadership on it and what exactly that entails. But sooner rather than later, we will have information out for everyone, probably in the form of these webinars along with emails. So really important, Camp Doc. It's the coolest thing ever. So make sure that you have everything that you need before you come to camp. This will expedite the process. And if you want physical copies for yourself, then make sure you have those physical copies printed out, ready to go. You can keep them in your site, in your troop trailer, whatever it may be. All right. Next slide, please.
Just real quick, Joe. While everyone is preparing, there is a poll that may have popped up on your screen. The reason we are going to be doing some polls tonight, and this is one of our surprise factors, is camp is not entirely planned yet because we want to tailor make our camp experience to what you and your troop are looking for. And so we'll get to those poll questions in just a minute. So just hang tight and appreciate it. Joe, let's talk a little bit about quality food.
Fantastic. All right. Quality food. One of the most important reasons to come to DeBarre Scout Ranch this summer is because we are going to have some top-notch quality food, and I promise you that. So how are we going to ensure that we're going to have quality food this summer? Well, one of the biggest and first ways that we're going to do that is by planning a quality menu. We're going to take the time and get the expertise from folks around us, whether they are professionals in the kitchen and food service world themselves, or perhaps they own a catering company or work for a hospital in a kitchen or whatever it may be. We're going to make sure that we have a great quality menu planned. Next comes quality staff to bring that menu together. So we're already in the process of interviewing several different candidates for the food service director position here at DeBarre Scout Ranch. And I'm not the only one that's going to be interviewing them. We're also going to be bringing in a panel of different food service professionals to actually come in and interview these folks with us. We're going to get them in the kitchen. We're going to see their processes so that we can guarantee that the people we hire can actually come on and cook and can make quality meals while staying within our parameters. And then number 3, quality management. So you all have seen or heard of the business manager in years past. We've actually taken that role and nixed it and replaced it with an operations director who sits on the administration team for DeBarre Scout Ranch. We've actually hired that person. Their name is Ryan Henderson, and they have time and experience working in the food service industry. He has worked 13 years at St. Mary's Hospital in Livonia as a kitchen manager, making sure that their food is up to snuff and good to go. So when it comes to quality staff, we want to make sure we have somebody quality that can manage them, and we found the perfect person. And then finally, a quality plan. All of these things really hit to come together to make a quality plan. And one of the things that we're really adding this year to help with a quality plan is the idea of pack out lunches. So every day for lunch, 12:15 until 1 o'clock, we're going to be handing out brown bag lunches / to-go container lunches at the Hay Pavilion. So you'll be able to go to the Hay Pavilion 12:15 to 1 o'clock every day, grab a lunch, take it back to your campsite, go to a picnic table in a place that you find beautiful on camp. Wherever it may be, you can go and have some quality time with the folks around you. So you can go back to camp and play some euchre, play some Magic the Gathering, whatever it is, go and do some cool stuff, have a lot of fun. So a part of our quality plan too, and like Jansen said, is we want your thoughts. So it's actually question 2 on the polling list is, I want your thoughts. I've heard a lot of different things of what we could do at camp, what's been done at camp in the past. And so I want your thoughts. Do you think that we could take our current plan and move it to the Wyckoff Dining Hall and eat out of the dining hall? Some of the benefits of this would be having that dining hall experience where you can see all the cool artwork and memorabilia that lives in camp and is a part of its history. You can also really get that feel of the echo when a booming voice comes forth and leads a song. And just being able to keep everything hot is really important too. We have other ways to do it that we found out at the Hay Pavilion, but what's a better way to be able to be prepared than have everything you need right behind you at your disposal? Or would you rather stay at the Hay Pavilion? Would you rather eat at the Hay Pavilion, stay with the Hay Pavilion, and continue the programming that happens out of there? Or are you fine with either? Which one? So important thing to note about the Wyckoff is if we do go that route, we will have the ability to use some of these brand new, and I use that word very awesomely, awesome. It's awesome. We have some brand new hay wagons that fit 25 to 30 people, and each of them is able to be pulled by a tractor or a truck. So for those faraway campsite, Riverside, High Point, so on and so forth, we can load everybody up and then take them to the dining hall. So it is
Joe,
question 2 on the poll. The poll,
Yep.
Would you be interested in using the dining hall? It should be dining hall for breakfast and dinner services during summer camp. Yes, no, we prefer the Hay Pavilion, or either work. So would you be interested in using the Wyckoff building? Yes. Would you be interested in using the Hay Pavilion? No, or either's fine with you. All right, so while you're all filling that out and getting all your poll submissions submitted, we can go on to the next slide. All right, so camp and COVID-19, right? What we're doing with COVID-19 procedures is while we're planning our summer, we're planning it with mindfulness to COVID. We want to make sure that we understand exactly how we can combat this virus and all of the effects of it while at camp, but we also want to plan for a really amazing summer that hopefully COVID-19 isn't as big of a thing. Hopefully vaccines are working, variants aren't being affected or are being affected by the vaccine, and we can have a very traditional-esque time at camp. But with or without COVID, summer camp is going to be run, and it's going to be great. We're going to have an amazing time. I actually had the opportunity to run a summer camp during COVID in 2020, right in the heart of it, and we came out with no cases for the entire summer, which is amazing. So I know with the backing of all of our great professionals and volunteers and the MCC, this is possible. We can do it. We're gonna have summer camp this summer. What it's gonna look like, we're figuring it out, but we're coming up with a plan in both cases. All right, let's go on to the weekly schedule. So the weekly schedule. Important things here really is Sunday, check-in day. Saturday, check-out day. Really important, right? You come in on Sunday at 12 to 2, you do all the fun, cool, exciting things on Sunday. On Saturday, you get to have breakfast in bed. We bring it out to your campsite, and right after breakfast, our site commissioners help you clean up, and we get you out of camp. Then throughout the week, we have some amazing things. So every single day at 9:30 a.m., we have an adult leader coffee rendezvous. So that's awesome, right? all the adult leaders get to come into the Hay Pavilion. Coffee will be a brewing, and we can have a nice chat with our commissioner over coffee. Talk about the plan for the day, the plan for the week, whatever it may be. Make sure that all of you are informed every single day, 9:30 a.m. in the Hay Pavilion. We want to make sure you have time to get your folks out to the merit badges, and we also want to make sure we have time with you to talk about what's going on. Some other highlights is on Tuesday afternoon, every single first-year scout is going to have a horse experience. They can opt out of it if they'd like, but every single first-year scout is going to have the ability to get on a horse, go on a corral ride, whatever it's going to be. We want to make sure that they're a part of the program. Other highlights are we're doing a family night this year. We're going to talk about that in just a second, but we're also doing a mile swim in the afternoon on Thursday. On Friday, we're planning a giant camp-wide rodeo, and then on Wednesday night, we're going to be doing this awesome water carnival that we're used to. The water carnival is going to be more troop versus troop, while the rodeo is going to be more patrol versus patrol to get everybody involved, everybody on top of it. So let's go into family night. We love our families. We love our parents. We love having them out to camp. We love showing them all the cool things that they can do. So my question to all of you, and it's poll question number 1, when should we do family night? When works best for you as the units and as the parents? Is it Wednesday night so they can experience the water carnival? Is it Friday night where we throw on a land carnival where you can do crosscut sawing, branding, you can do some tie-dye if you want, and then they get to see the Firebowl? Tell me, what works best for you guys? It's really important to me that your voices are heard and that going forward, things are set.
One additional thought with that, in regards to family night that Joe and I have thrown out, was is utilizing the Hay Pavilion for cooking that evening, doing a cookout style menu, and then allowing families to come in and purchase meals with us. And so rolling from dinner and having a meal with their scout to then participate in some of the activities that would be around the main part of camp, and see how that is going on, to showcase their favorite program area or their favorite staff member. And then we will be doing awards in addition to troop skits at the campfire, and a great opportunity to have the parents and family recognize their scouts for their accomplishments, as well as see the quirky and zany and amazing skits and songs that each troop comes up with.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So I heard some questions about Wednesday night away. That's still something that we're figuring out, is if we're just going to do a call-out ceremony, or if we can work with the new lodge and figuring out how we can do our deals and brotherhood on camp. It's something we're figuring out. But either way, it's going to be an amazing program. So let's go ahead and go on to the next slide, where we talk about merit badges, one of the most cool and important things at camp, right next to having fun. So, and I guess those two things go hand in hand most of the time. So here is a list of 4 of the areas that we're going to be offering, or 3 of the areas and 1 specialty program that we're going to be offering this year. So important to note, all of the bold badges are week-long experiences. You are going to spend a block of time every single day at that merit badge doing really awesome stuff to complete it. Anything that is in red, you are able to start an open program. We'll talk about that in just a second. Another really important thing on here is the ranch hand experience. Right now, we're offering the ranch hand experience for July 11th through 17th. You'll be able to sign up for that at the same time that you sign up for merit badges. And if it's something that's really interesting to you, you want to do provisional, make sure you reach out to us. We're figuring out how we can offer that program provisionally to our customers, to you guys. So that's also going to have some exclusive merit badges that you can earn in that program, including animal science, vet med, farm mechanics, and welding. And, you know, if it comes down to it, and we think that it's going to be too many kids are signing up for the ranch hand because of the coolest thing ever, we can open up additional weeks. So let's go ahead and go on to the next slide. So here are some more. Same thing, bold merit badges are going to be week-long experiences. Red merit badges, you're able to start in open program blocks. but we have a lot of them. We have a lot of Eagle requireds. We have a lot of fun ones. Fun ones include Eagle required 99.99% of the time. All right, important note on this is the Pedro Patrol, which is our first year camper experience, will have 3 exclusive merit badges for this year. So eventually they're bound to find their way into our merit badge offering somehow, but this year we're going to offer the music, fingerprinting, and geology merit badges to our Pedro Patrol Scouts exclusively. Really cool, awesome offering for them, able to get some merit badges under their belt, along with have a really great time and work on advancement as well. So let's go ahead and go to the next slide. So this is our daily schedule, Monday and Tuesday, Wednesday and Thursday for the morning. If you look, breakfast is scheduled from 8 to 8:45. Lunch is scheduled from 12:15 to 2. How this is broken up, if you remember those bold merit badges, I'm talking about metalwork, environmental science, and horsemanship. Those bolded merit badges are going to be week-long experiences. So what that means is from 9 a.m. to 10:30, if I am in metalwork number 1, I'm going to show up 9 a.m. to 10:30 Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday to complete that merit badge. Environmental science, same thing. For the rest of the merit badges that were not bolded and not red, you start them when it says. So if I have myself signed up for kayaking merit badge 9 to 10:30, that's going to take me Monday 9 to 10:30 and Tuesday 9 to 10:30 to complete. After that, Wednesday and Thursday, my 9 to 10:30 block is open, so I can go and take the swimming merit badge. I'm going to schedule one of these other merit badges from 9 to 10:30 as the second merit badge I'm taking for the week. Same thing with session 2. So I could take motorboating, and then I could take music, or I could take motorboating and then camping. Whatever works for your scouts, whatever they want to do, that's how they can build this morning schedule. If we go over to the next slide, for the afternoon program, we see 12:15 to 2 is lunch, 6 to 6:45 is dinner, and we notice that there are still some closed program scheduled merit badges: small boat sailing, more metalworking, emergency preparedness, corral rides and trail rides. These are all scheduled activities for your scout to schedule on the March date going forward to be prepared for summer camp. Everything else, open boating, open swim, open program for handicraft, EcoCon, outdoor skills, all of that, those red merit badges, you can start those during afternoon program. So if I start it, or if I want to start archaeology merit badge, I can start archaeology merit badge in the afternoon, and I can do it. And if I finish archaeology merit badge because I came prepared and I have my pre-camp workbook filled out and I am good to go, then I can go and start one of the other merit badges offered during open program. Or I can just go and boat, or I can go and swim, or play on the inflatables, or shoot some archery or rifle or shotgun. You see where I'm going with this. So another important note here is, let's say I had kayaking from 9 to 10:30 Monday and Tuesday. I was really good at the bookwork. I got all of that out of the way. I understand everything in my head, but I lacked some practical skill and knowledge. So I wasn't able to complete all of the practical requirements, all of the demonstration requirements. So what I'm going to do is, if I started a closed program merit badge in the morning, I can continue that in the afternoon. So I didn't complete the kayaking merit badge in the allotted time. I need some extra help. I can go down to the open boating session and I can work on the practical skills that come along with a kayaking merit badge. So no matter where you are, you can expect to earn, at least if you're taking the block long for the session, for the morning session, you can walk away with 4 merit badges. If you come prepared, you know exactly what you're doing, you have your workbooks completed, and you're good to go, you can walk away with 5, 6, sometimes more. So it really depends on the scout's preparedness when they come to camp. one of the ways that we're also helping our scouts this year with this change in programming mentality, this change from a strict week-long schedule to block programming, which we've seen work in places like schools, is if you don't really understand much going in, but you got to sign up for all your closed program merit badges, but you have a lot of open time you're not sure what to do with, on Sunday, we're going to turn either the dining hall or Hay Pavilion into this amazing carnival-esque style, career fair style place called the Sunday Midway, where you can walk around with your scheduling card that you made and say, hey, Mr. Aquatics Director or Miss Aquatics Director person, what do I do in the afternoon with my time? And they're going to say, well, you're going to come down to the aquatics area, and I think you should do some inflatables. Or, oh, you need to work on merit badges? I hear that EcoCon is offering the archaeology merit badge in the afternoon. You should schedule this amount of time for that. So you can start these merit badges. You can work on ones that you have some trouble with. It'll give you more time. Ultimately, you have more time with this block schedule in a program area to work on a specific merit badge than you do with week-long activities or a week-long schedule.
Joe, if I can jump in here. So,
yeah, absolutely.
To go along with what Joe's saying and to answer some of the questions. So the reason that we are going with block scheduling is in essence, we are cutting down on the transition time, which is where we lose a lot of time. If you had a class from 9 to 9:50 Monday through Thursday, you have 10 minutes of arrival time and 10 minutes of pack-up time. So you really only have 30 minutes of instruction time each day of the week. And so what this does is we are now cutting down the transition time by, instead of offering a 50-minute session, we're offering an hour-and-a-half session. And so it's going to allow us for more time there. The beauty of the afternoon schedule is it works for any type of scout. And so if you have a scout that is advancement driven and they want to work on merit badges, in those open program slots, they can work on prereqs at home. They could go to ecology or in outdoor skills or in handicraft, and they can work on as many merit badges as they want. As Joe and I have added up, we can see scouts earning up to 8 or 9 if they put all that time in beforehand to work on open a program. But then we also have scouts that are really driven by adventure and trying new things out. And they know that advancement is important, but they also want to try to shoot a rifle for the first time, or they've never been in a kayak, or they've never been launched off the blob in the aquatics area. And that allows us that time as well. And so what we're really doing is we're creating a program of choice, allowing scouts to find what makes the most sense for them. And then if they change their mind halfway through the week, they have the beauty to change that up. So a few other questions that came in was the slides were a little bit small. And so we're actually going to be sending out this slideshow after the fact to all of you, as well as the merit badge schedule that Joe is going over. We're still working on our Pedro Patrol Trail down there at the bottom, as we're still refining what that program is going to be. That's for our first year campers that are working on tenderfoot second class or for first class. But we will be providing you with these resources as well as providing you with the link to this presentation once it's done. Joe, back to you.
Fantastic. All right, an important note before we go on to the next slide is the Pedro Patrol, our first year camper program, is still in, we'll say, the development stage. We are working tirelessly with volunteers to ensure that not only are we creating something that is advancement focused, but also has an awesome degree of fun to it. So we're working with some early childhood development, some early to some middle school teachers to really create a program that is worthwhile for your scouts. So you can expect that at the next webinar, that schedule for the Pedro Patrol or first year camper experience. All right, next slide, please. Cool, so some important things to know pre-camp. Camp scholarships exist and you should go and apply for them right after this call. So by April 1st is our application deadline, and you can find the info on michiganscouting.org/scholarships. Camp scholarships were once known as camperships. We changed the language to fit more along the lines with what every single person knows. So we all know that you can earn scholarships to go to school. Now we know that we can earn camp scholarships to go to camp. So If you want a camp scholarship, make sure you submit by the deadline of April 1st. Capacity for classes. So capacity for classes are going to exist within the 8 to 12 range, somewhere in there. Some, like metalworking, which requires strict supervision, are going to be that 8. Others that don't require as much supervision, like mammal study, are going to take on that 12. That'll become more obvious when you actually get into the registration system. But something important to note is if you are extremely knowledgeable in the metalworking area, you're extremely knowledgeable in EcoCon, and you're willing to volunteer a lot of time out of your week to come and help us expand these capacities, we are willing to do that. One of the things that we are committed to is offering an amazing program, offering a quality program, where when a scout leaves with a merit badge, they truly feel like they're knowledgeable about it and that they've earned it. So by keeping the capacities for these classes from 8 to 12, we can ensure that. So if you're interested in volunteering and you have special skills and you're going to come for a week of camp and you're interested in volunteering for that week of camp, some of your time, maybe it's 9 to 10:30 or Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday to help with the kayaking merit badge. We will appreciate it. Please send that offer to me, and you'll see my email address at the end of this presentation. So number 3, class schedules. All of your scouts' class schedules should be printed before arriving to camp to be the most successful. We don't have a great printing operation. There is an Office Depot in town if folks forget and they need to print in bulk, but it's important that you come prepared. That is our motto, be prepared. So bring your schedules. And then we also are introducing the prerequisite slip. So we now have this new prereq slip coming to camp. This must be signed by an adult leader and brought to the merit badge counselor. So you can see it has the name of the scout, it has the merit badge that they're going for, and the prerequisites they've completed. The prerequisite list is going to come out in that February webinar that we're doing. And then Scoutmaster signature and date, then that scout takes this coupon over to, let's say, the Scoutcraft area and turns it in for citizenship in the nation. Suddenly, they're good to go and can earn the rest of the merit badge at camp. All right, next up, Hike-a-thon. I'm handing this over to Jansen.
All right, thank you so much, Joe. There is a question there in the chat. If you could grab that one, I'd appreciate it. So the Hike-a-thon is something that we are rolling out this year. In essence, we're telling everyone to take a hike-a-thon. And we are offering an opportunity for scouts and leaders to raise funds to support their scouting adventures. And so what does this look like? So we're asking folks to go out and solicit funds from friends and family, colleagues, coworkers, whatever it might be, to help support the mission and the adventures of scouting. And so from the funds raised, it'll be based in an online platform that we're going to be rolling out coming up here at the end of February. But in essence, for every $1 that you raise, 50 cents of that goes into the Scouts account, or the check will be mailed to the unit to be allocated to the Scout, and then 50% goes to the council to support our campership, or excuse me, our camp scholarship funds. And so what this looks like is, over the course of the next few months, we have a couple of steps, but we're trying to make sure that we provide every opportunity for your scouts and leaders to raise those funds, knowing that this past year and our popcorn sale, being a primary fundraiser for most of you, was not as lucrative as we might have expected or hoped. And so trying to provide another opportunity, and in addition, a chance to be physically fit and get out into the outdoors. So what we're asking you to do is, if you are looking for an additional fundraiser and looking to raise those funds for camp and for your upcoming scouting year as we look to 21 and 22, first off, let us know that you're participating. We're going to be rolling out some more information at Roundtable. We'll be sure to send you out a flyer with information and the sign-up link. We're asking you to do that here before February 21st. And that's that first star there. The second star is on February 24th. We are going to be doing a hike-a-thon webinar similar to this to provide you with the information to train you up and mobilize you to go back to your units and to train your scouts and your adults on how they can raise the money that they have set as a goal to help them with their adventures in the coming year. And then through March, April, and May, you'll be out soliciting funds and sponsors or sponsorships to hike the miles that you set forth as a goal. And then the beauty of all of this is that you can take a hike wherever you want. If you wanted to, you could take a hike in your own backyard, maybe if you had a big backyard, probably at like a local park, at one of our metro parks, at a state park, or you could attend one of our hike-a-thon events at one of our camps, either at Rotary, Tatanka, Cole Canoe Base, or Gerber. Or not to brag, you should come to DeBray on June 5th, where it's not just a hike experience, but we will be having program stations set along the way. So it'll be a day to come out to camp, enjoy all that camp has to offer, in addition to be able to participate in program, BB guns, bows and arrows, those sort of things at no charge as a way to make the hike a little bit more fun. And so we're really excited about this opportunity. One, because the Scout is physically strong. Two, we think it's a great way for your unit to help raise some funds, for us to be able to raise the necessary camp scholarships to make sure that no Scout is left behind when it comes to a camp experience. And we think it's going to be a great time to be able to see everyone out at camp. So, Joe, any questions come in on the hike-a-thon?
Not in particular for the hike-a-thon, but we have some other ones.
All right, that's okay. I'm going to turn it back over to you, Joe, and then I'll handle some of these questions here in the chat room.
Fantastic. Let's go to the last slide. So this is my contact information. I am the year-round program director for the ranch. I work full-time as a dream job for the Boy Scouts of America and DeBarre Scout Ranch in particular. So if you have any questions for our year-round programming, weekend camping, cabin camping, shooting sports, horses, whatever it is, contact me. My personal cell phone number is up on the screen along with my email. Give me a call, shoot me a text, send me an email, whatever works best for you. Please do so. Reach out to me. I love talking if you haven't noticed. So I am more than happy to talk about how amazing camp is and why you should come, or what we can offer you when you do come. So just answering some questions real quick, because this is also the questions and comment section. So something important to note about the prerequisite slips is we're not going to just take the prerequisite slip and be like, okay, well, this is perfect. We're going to say, okay, sweet. So you've done these prerequisites. Can you tell me a little bit about your experience talking to or sending your letter to U.S. Senator, whatever it is, you know, just making sure that they understand that they are knowledgeable with what they're saying. Also, the horsemanship merit badge is going to offer up to 40 scouts per week. If we need to expand that, we can. So if suddenly every single week is filled with 40 scouts that want to take the horsemanship merit badge, we can then change or offer more sessions of that by taking back some trail rides or corral rides for maybe a day or two out of the week. So
real quick for that, Joe. Yep. So in addition, as part of that question, the question was, are there only 8 scouts that can sign up for a merit badge session for horsemanship? The answer is yes. At the current time, we would have 8 scouts plus 2 of our wranglers. And so there's 2 morning slots, so a total of 16 in the morning. And then there's also horsemanship in the afternoon, if I remember correctly. Is that right, Joe?
So actually, you got it a little backwards. We're actually going to be expanding that. 10 scouts are going to be able to be on the horses. 10 scouts are going to be doing in-person, in-class things. So we're going to be able to offer 20 per session. And with the 2 morning sessions, that's going to be offering for 40 different scouts.
Thank you for that clarification. I needed that.
Yep.
Next question. So Joe, I'm going to go ahead and read these out loud for you. So the next question was, will the counselor record the completion of the prereq, or do we need to do that before arrival?
Great question. The counselor will go into the Black Puck system and record the prerequisites. So make sure you don't do anything on your end of things in Scout Book. You let us do that so that we can make it a really easy export. We don't want, you know, your troop of 30 scouts to come up and say, we have these 50 prerequisite slips each for you to go and put in your system. We'll handle that on our end. We have the technology to make it super easy and make it to where you can just export it straight to Scout Book.
All right, next question. It says, so you don't want the scouts to bring the individual paperwork for prereqs, you just want the prereq verification. Can you clarify that?
Yeah, absolutely. So if the paperwork is going to help them prove, like if me personally, I write everything down. I need to write everything down, otherwise I forget. My Outlook calendar is completely full and will stay that way forever because that's important to me and that's how I work. If your scout works where they need some paperwork in order to show or remember certain parts of their experience with the prerequisites, have them bring it. The prerequisite verification is great. The slip is great. The most important thing is that when we verify with that scout by talking with them, that they have the knowledge to back up what they're saying or what they are saying with the slip.
So a prime example of this would be when I was a scout, for my environmental science merit badge, I had to build a terrarium where I kept it for 7 days under heat and moisture and check all the things. The likelihood that I was going to bring that to camp was pretty small. And so what we ended up doing was with my leader, ended up having photos of it and taking it with my scoutmaster, and then my scoutmaster helped verify the fact that I indeed had done that. So what we were trying to do is we're trying to establish a better trust relationship between us as the camp admin team, our merit badge counselors, the scoutmaster, and then the scout. So we want to make sure that that there's transparency across the board, and then we know what's going on. All right, Joe, are you still there or you froze for a second?
I am still here.
Okay, maybe it's just my computer. Okay, so let me see here. Next question is, will overnight camping be offered on the day of a hike-a-thon? So yes, so actually one of the beauties of 2021 is that part of our program fee is that campsites are now free. And so what we would ask is that if you decide to come to the hike-a-thon on one of those days, that you would register through our facility rental, through the MichiganScouting.org website, and reserve your campsite. Even though you don't need to pay for it, we still ask that you reserve for it so that it's not a double booked, and we'd be more than happy to have you out on that day. Next question, Joe, was do you have an anticipation of when our prereq sheet will be available to distribute?
Absolutely. So as of Friday, I will be going into the system and adding it so that every single person can have access to that. It'll pop up in the registration, just like all the other forms that we have. I'll also be adding this weekly schedule along with the Excel sheet that shows the daily schedule.
Fantastic. Another question that came in, and I'll grab this one. So if you want to take a look at the chat. Question was, if we're a gold unit loyalty plan, but not able to make our deposit for each scout, which is due really quick, it's due here in 3 days, will that impact our status? And so with the way that it works is that if you're a gold unit loyalty plan and you pay that initial deposit of $500, all that will happen is that moving forward, your payments will start to compound. So $50 is due this month, $50 is due next month. And so if you miss this month's payment, the next month each scout and leader would owe $100. And so it'll continue to compound. You need to be up to date on your payments in order to have your scouts registered for their merit badges. And in order not to incur the late fee, everyone needs to have their camp fees paid in full by the May date. So just to be aware of that.
Fantastic. Another question is, will there be a Trail to Eagle week this year? The answer to that is yes, absolutely. There will be a Trail to Eagle week this year. It is the same week that it has mostly always been, I believe, which is the week of July 4th.
Session 2.
Session 2.
Of Scouts BSA Resident Camp. Yep.
Another question we have here, and Jansen, I'll let you take this one, just so I'm making sure we get the right information. If we are doing patrol cooking, do we pick up the food from the dining hall or is it brought to our campsite?
So that's a great question. So the way that DBRA is structured is that our goal and intention is to be a dining hall style camp. And so with that being said, we do not provide the food, but what we can do is take an amount off of your bill because you would be providing your own food. We as a camp can help with the storage of that food on a day-to-day basis, but we need to work out a plan. So I know there's a couple of units that are patrol-based. We're happy to support that, but no, that's not the initial design of our program. But be happy to reach out to Joe or myself, and we can work on those logistics with you. Another question that came up is, will there be an IOLS course? So IOLS is the Introduction to Outdoor Leader Skills. That is a required training for an assistant scoutmaster or scoutmaster to be trained in their position. And we are actually looking at providing that course in conjunction with our first year camper program, the Pedro Patrol. Being that IOLS goes through a lot of the requirements that are needed for tenderfoot second class and for first class. And so it's not that you'll be shadowing the scouts, you'll be one of the scouts. And we're gonna go through those sort of things. And so we'll have a checklist that we'll be rolling out here. We're still working with our training team to get that solidified. But for Joe Smith that reached out, we wanna make sure that as an adult leader, if that's a training that you need, you can maximize your time with us at the ranch and get the necessary training that you need for your position. Somebody commented on here, said nothing's been mentioned about mask yet. So I want to tell you just where our policy stands right now when it comes to mask and just the COVID protocol and precautions that we are taking. So if you come to DeBeret right now, and DeBeret is open for tent camping, anytime that you're on the property, we are asking that everyone has a mask on, whether you're inside or outside. The times to take it off would be if you're eating, drinking, or sleeping. But at the current time, mask would be required at all times. Is that going to be the rule this summer? Can't tell you. I'm not sure, but I do want to be transparent and tell you that right now it is the rule. And that if things were to maintain the current course as to where they are, we would be wearing masks in the course of our summer camp program. Next question on here, Joe, is in the past, we've given the parents a code. This is a leader speaking. We've given the parents a code to go into the parent portal and pay directly after the deposit. Is that still possible? So that's from Kim Mast. Joe, are you familiar with the parent portal?
I am a little bit familiar with the parent portal. I know that it changes, I think, unit to unit from my understanding. So it's really up to the unit and the Scoutmaster to set up that parent portal and make sure that you have those codes available to you. So if your unit is the type of unit that is they only want all of the money to go through the treasurer, that's a possibility. If a unit wants to set up the parent portal so every single parent can set up or can pay towards their scouts fee, you can set that up as well. So it's unit by unit basis.
And if you need help with setting that up, please feel free to reach out to Joe or myself. We would be happy to help you with that. Joe, the next question that came up, and I don't remember the fees right off the top of my head, but the question is, so total fees due by March. So not the total fees are due by March, but you need to be up to speed with your payments in March, which by that time I believe should be $200 in total. And so you don't need to pay all of your fees by March, but you need to have enough money down so that we know that you are committed to the program and to the merit badges, because at that point in time, that's really where we start to figure out, do we need to increase staff? Do we need to buy additional supplies? Where are we at with our menu? And so that's really the time in March helps us know who's serious about coming to camp and who's not quite sure at the moment. And that really helps us from an administrative team prepare for a great experience for you and your troop. Another question came up, NYLT this year at DeBeret. So National Youth Leadership Training. There will be two NYLT courses offered at DeBeret. One is taking place in June and one is taking place in July. And if you go to michiganscouting.org, click on the training tab, you can find youth leadership training, and there is a link to all of the resources there. Another question came in about vaccines required for summer camp. And I appreciate the question. And the answer to that is we don't know. We don't know if we can make that claim yet. We are currently working with the state of Michigan and LARA, which is the Licensing and Regulation Agency or Authority. It's one of the two. Working to see how do we ensure that scouts and kids, adults are safe, not just in scout camp, but across every camp in the state of Michigan. So I can't say yet whether or not a vaccine would be required, but we're leaning on our experts and leaning to the state of Michigan and the health department to determine the best course of action. So stay tuned because that target keeps moving. And that's one of the reasons that we set up these webinars on a monthly basis, because as things change, we want to let you know. And we'll be the first to tell you that we don't have all the answers, and we're okay with that. But we're going to get the answers, and we're going to help try to prepare you in this crazy a season, because we're not entirely sure what camp's going to look like, but we're hoping for it. So at least hoping for the plan that we put forth, and we'll pivot if the climate will dictate. All right, let's see if we've got a few more questions, Joe. I'll read this one to you. Right now, our troop is, my troop and another one are both in High Point. If there's a current COVID policy or one scout per tent, is there enough room for that for social distancing?
So it really depends on the number of scouts and adults in each unit. High Point is one of our larger sites, so it does fit a lot of people. It also depends on troop comfortability. One of the things that we're going to be doing over the next couple of weeks is reaching out to those folks that are double booked and saying, hey, there are other units in your site. Are you comfortable with that? If not, here are some alternatives for you. So we want to make sure that everybody stays within their comfort zone, as we talked about Scout Camp being a safe haven for everybody. So it's something that we're looking at and making sure that we're going to have at the top of our priority going forward is, do you know this? And if you do, is that okay with you? If it's not, let's figure out a solution.
Perfect. Next question is, we don't know what scouts are going yet for the first payment, first two payments. How will that work? And can we use generic names and update them when we know?
Yes, you can use generic names. You can continue to, actually, one of the things that I highly suggest you do is use generic names. If you have a good idea of what's going on and you're not exactly sure who's going to be showing up, or maybe there's a scout you're unsure about, like you're talking about, they might drop, but another scout might take their place. Being able to have those names in the system now for when merit badge registration comes along is going to be incredibly important. So make sure you get those generic names in. And if you have a scout that drops and another scout that joins in to take that scout's place, it becomes so much easier to swap them in and out.
Fantastic. Thank you, Joe. Next question is, if I have parents unsure with COVID, how easy it will be to add a scout later as their comfort level increases?
You can always give me a call. There is a late fee that gets incurred eventually. I'm not exactly sure the date on that, but there is a late fee that will be incurred eventually. Certain things can change that scenario, certain things won't change that scenario. So when you do give me a call, I'll have a better answer for you.
Fantastic. Joe, if you can look through the questions here real quick. I'm going to address the last one here. Chad Langdon asked, will there be a webinar for Trail to Eagle and NYLT? And if yes, when? So as of right now, the answer is no. But that's a great suggestion. And I actually have a team, I work with the NYLT folks on possibly doing an NYLT for the state and the Trail to Eagle team. So we will reach out to them and let you know. Going back to a previous question about the parent portal, the parent portal, for those of you that do not know, allows the person that created the registration for your troop to then provide access to your families for them to manage their payments instead of having the treasurer of the troop manage all of their payments, because it can be quite cumbersome. And so there are some tutorials that are available through our website. And when we send out an email after the fact to all of you, we will make sure to include a link to that tutorial.
So we've got a question here. Does camp perform an OA call out? The answer to that is yes, we do. We might be going beyond that. We're going to see what we can do and what we can offer. I was a ceremonies kid growing up. I was super involved in the OA, and I still am to this day. So the OA is something that's really important to me at camp, and we will be performing an OA call-out ceremony. What that's going to look like will depend on what the current scenario is, but I foresee it happening regardless of the situation, because I know folks at National are working really hard to come up with a COVID-friendly, safe call-out ceremony. And then another question, do we have the same registration number as we did last year? The answer to that is probably not, but it could be. I think that Jansen's actually handling that one. So I'll go on to the other question. No late fees for new scouts, correct. And that is correct. If you have a Webelos crossover, there will be no late fees for that scout. They can join at any times because they are crossing over. So. All right, any more questions, comments, concerns?
So we realize that we've thrown a lot of information at you tonight. And so one of the things that we want to make sure that we do, and one of the reasons that Joe is leading this charge, is that he is our camp director for the summer. And so I will be helping to support him in any way that I can as I oversee the DBRA camp as a whole. But he will be your go-to guy when it comes to all of your summer camp questions. So please feel free to open the door of a communication. The goal between now and the start of camp is to ask all the questions that you possibly can, so that you have your certainties. Because when you arrive to camp, we want you to be as comfortable as possible, knowing that most of you are taking time away from your families or spending your vacation days. And so we want it to be an enjoyable experience for you. And so the way that we provide that experience in the summer is by asking those questions and working through some of those situations now. So you'll get an email from Joe with his contact information, in addition to the merit badge schedule that we posted out, the tutorials and the slideshow. And let's continue the conversation as we help you, your PLC, and your troop committee prepare for an awesome time at camp. Joe, any last things before we get ready to sign off? It doesn't look like we have any other questions that have come in.
Exactly. I just wanted to reiterate what Jansen said. Call me, text me, email me anytime. I am always willing to talk to people about how amazing camp is and why you should be here if you're not already. So if you need some help, if you need walkthrough on Black Pug, these are all things that I'm extremely comfortable with. So feel free to reach out. My door technically isn't open right now, but all of these communication methods are. So reach out to me with anything that you have.
So Joe and I are going to hang on the line here for another 5 or 10 minutes until the questions stop. But if you need to, you guys are more than welcome to sign off and enjoy the rest of your evening and have a great weekend. We are going to jump into a few more questions that came up. Sharon White asked, will there be training for leaders during the day other than the coffee, such as water training, CPR, that sort of thing?
So right now, like Jansen said, an important part of our operation is ensuring that our adult leaders are trained. It's part of our responsibility as a camp staff, in my opinion, and as a council. So we will have some commissioner-led trainings, and also you'll have the ability to go to some of those high adventure areas, such as the aquatics area, and earn aquatics, safety afloat and safe swim defense. These are also offered online. So even if you want to maybe get a refresher of an in-person course, you can do that as well. But we will offer trainings throughout the week. You'll just have to wait and kind of see as those opportunities pop up. We're finalizing those details now.
Future webinar idea. Love it. Here's another one that came for you, Joe. So the question is from Ben Evans. Are you looking for the Pager Patrol to be a whole day program or just a half day?
So it's going to depend. I think that some days are going to be full days. I think some days are going to be half days, and I think some days are going to be quarter, 3/4 days. It's going to be a hybrid program of making sure we have the opportunity to give these scouts an amazing time by showing them all around camp, showing them all of the different places and all of the different program areas. Is one of my goals, is making sure we do a rotation. They're not stuck in a tent for an entire week learning out of it, tying the knots in the same tent, so on and so forth. They're going to EcoCon, and they're learning about the nature walk that we have. They're going to Scoutcraft, aquatics, so on and so forth. So some days are going to be longer than others. Some days we might only have a 5-mile hike. We're figuring that out right now, but I can promise you that one of the most important things to both Jansen and I is that when a scout comes to camp, they have the ability to choose, and they have the ability to have a great time that they feel like they had a hand in crafting. So I can tell you that the first year camper Pedro Patrol will not be a week-long experience. It won't be every single day at first year camper doing stuff, advancing, no time for fun, no time for other merit badges. You will have that time. You will have time to go and swim, play in the inflatables, or go and earn a merit badge that you're really looking forward to.
So the other thing with that that I'll say to Ben or to any of you that are still on is that if you have specific thoughts when it comes to what you would want to see out of a first year camper program, please send us your thoughts. As Joe mentioned, we are passionate about it. I personally, at the camp that I ran when I was a kid a few years ago, the first year program is something that I was on staff for. I was a director for, and it's our goal and intention to make it the coolest area in camp. Because we only get one shot to have a first impression, especially on our new crossovers. And so we want to be able to provide our scouts not just with rank advancement, merit badge advancement opportunities, fun opportunities, and then exposure events as well. And so we're really trying to overhaul it, which is why we have shifted the name back to the Pedro Patrol from days way back. But we're rebranding it because we are going to be providing you guys a different experience that we think you and your scouts will be very pleased with. And somebody put in here, please keep the 5-mile hike for the Pedros. You betcha. We not only have the yellow loop, but the blue loop and the red loop, and we fully intend on utilizing those and providing that opportunity, which is the beauty of the afternoon, because in that open program schedule in the afternoon, that could be an elective where scouts could go on that hike if they need to. But if they've already done it with their troop and they don't want it, they can go do something else. And that's that beauty of that choice that they have. Joe, I'm not seeing anything else. It looks like you did a pretty darn good job. It looks like we just got to craft up an email after the fact once we get this presentation downloaded. Thank you to Chris Hopkins for being on the call, and also to Sean Henneman, our Chief Deputy Scout Executive for Program, and for all of his support.
Perfect. Thank you so much, everybody, for attending. It's been great. Make sure you call me, text me, email me. I love to talk.
Have a great evening, everyone.
Bye-bye.